Kampala Capital City and Metropolitan Affairs, Ajat Misa Kavanda, announced that the city would begin enforcing government directives requiring street vendors to vacate illegal trading spaces starting February 19th. She said that the move was necessary to restore order, protect public safety, and support legitimate businesses. The enforcement, she said, would follow a 2-week campaign during which KCCA teams would engage traders across the city, informing them of the legal requirements operating in Kampala and directing them to available market spaces. KCCA argued that across parts of the central business district, vendors had been operating directly on pedestrian walkways, spreading merchandise on tarpaulins and sacks laid on the ground. Fresh produce, clothes, household items were often displayed along road reserves, on traffic islands, and near drainage channels. The above actions, she said, resulted in severe congestion, with pedestrian pathways completely disappearing, including blocking of building entrances. The Federation of SMEs was not opposed to this action, but it advised that the vendors be given time to be able to relocate. We also requested that some of the vendors would not necessarily be well suited to work in markets. Therefore, government should consider investing in additional workspaces. However, on 10th March, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Local Government issued a notice to all chief administrative officers, all town clerks of all cities and municipalities, instructing them to implement what he called trade order. In the letter, he lamented the influx of people into urban areas in search of employment. He confirms that these people are not qualified for formal employment. The Federation is concerned about these activities for the following reasons. One, contrary to the Trade Licensing Act, many of the businesses whose premises were demolished had received valid trading licenses from the local authorities. You can't license an illegality. You can't license something and then you turn around and say it's illegal. Two, the enforcers fail to distinguish between illegal vending and licensed legal businesses operating from unapproved or illegal structures. You see? So, are you targeting illegal businesses? Are you targeting illegal structures? If you're targeting illegal structures, it's a completely different campaign. It's a campaign maybe by the National Building Review Board and physical planners. It's not a trade order operation. In this case, you allow people time. You say, anyone who's operating from a road reserve, we are giving you 6 months, 8 months, and so on to relocate. In this trading center, these are the alternatives. Most of these urban authorities did not engage and did not comply with the directive to engage in robust public education and awareness about the measures. Many of the local authorities do not even have any trade strategies as instructed in the letter. Worryingly, there was limited or no consultation with key stakeholders such as business people and so on. This lack of consultation means that most of the business people were ambushed and have lost property as a result of these measures. In any case, we don't have any existing guidelines to guide demolitions at the moment, as envisioned in the Building Control Amendment Act of 2026. If you're to demolish someone's building, there are procedures. You get a demolition permit, you give them notice. You know, we cannot enforce the law through lawlessness. See? So this demolition of trade premises has been poorly executed with no effort to identify hazards. In some instances, they leave live wires, they cut through water pipes and so on. They are exposing the lives of our businesses to great risk and exposure to hazardous materials. The negative economic impact of this exercise on the livelihoods of business owners and the employees, as well as government revenue, is immense. We've looked at the spread. The Federation has spoken to 13,567 businesses countrywide. 31% of them are in the Kampala metropolitan area, 26% are in Western Uganda, 14% are in Eastern region, 12% are in Northern region, and 8% are in West Nile. The majority of the MSMEs interviewed, 93%, reported that being chased away from operating from roadsides has left them with no place to work, directly causing their businesses to halt. For some, this has led to a complete cessation of business activity, and they are not working at the moment. 88% of the respondents reported that their amygdala or stores were destroyed or they were confiscated by local council enforcement teams. 15% reported that all their business assets and equipment were confiscated or destroyed. 79% have indicated that they have lost contact with their customers, and therefore they have lost very valuable business. 68% indicate that they lack alternatives. This is worse. In Kampala, there was an attempt to identify markets and so on. Out of Kampala, there's none. In fact, in some instances, they destroyed the existing markets. In Walugembe, they destroyed the existing market. In Musta, they destroyed the existing market. In our view, this is malicious. So we believe that local authorities have a duty to support the local economy, to provide alternatives, to support the growth of local businesses, not to curtail them. That's why we want a conducive business environment. These are the kind of laws that make it difficult for Ugandans to start and run their businesses. Many of them are suffering from psychological disturbance. They've lost their capital, they've been harassed, some have been arrested, some have had their properties confiscated, and this has instilled fear. And this is not the kind of environment we want to promote entrepreneurship. We should not fight entrepreneurship, we should guide. Government should be a parent, a facilitator, not a policeman who destroys. See? So we are concerned that as a result of these operations, very many young people who have been engaged in informal employment are going to end up in criminal activity. No wonder the levels of insecurity across the country are going up. So government is going to have to inevitably spend on curbing these high crime levels. As I already indicated, although many of these businesses operating legally on road reserves and so on, many of them are licensed by local authority. But even those that are operating illegally are part of our consumption. You know, Uganda gets taxes indirectly, excise duty, VAT. The more Ugandans consume, the better. So if a small business is contributing to our consumption pool, it's contributing to this economy. And this is something we must say very clearly, that most of these local governments can't even mobilize local revenue. Instead of supporting these small businesses and ensuring that they can contribute to the resource envelope, they are actively destroying them through unclear guidelines. Most importantly, most of these entrepreneurs are women and young people. Their livelihoods have been destroyed, they are being driven into destitution. It's not just a market stall, it's someone's fees, it's someone's ability to give health care to their child. So we are asking all local officials to be humane and to follow the law. No one is above the law. That letter that has been written by a permanent secretary is not above the law. You must follow the law. Even as you intend to implement the Trade Licensing Act and other local ordinances, you must ensure that you follow the law and you respect the property of Uganda. So we therefore, as a Federation of SMEs, have the following recommendations and temporary halt to the demolition of these workspaces temporarily until there has been extensive consultations and alternatives have been identified. This is very important. Let's find alternatives. Our intention is not to destroy these businesses. Our intention should be to support them. If they have done wrong, let's guide them. Government is a parent, is a regulator. And government has a responsibility to ensure that businesses, this is a private sector-led economy. 90% of our businesses are MSMEs. Government has a responsibility to ensure that no business collapses because of high-handedness. Number two, we are asking local governments to come up with clear trades order strategies. What are you implementing? What do you want to achieve? Okay. Ensure that there is adequate consultation with stakeholders. Any demolitions must comply with the law. Must comply with the law. Number three, there must be extensive awareness and communication about the objectives, the process, and the end result. At the moment, there's zero awareness, zero communication. This is an ambush. Assets are being destroyed very early in the morning before businesses wake, before entrepreneurs wake up. This is sadistic, and we ask that local authorities do better. In conclusion, the Federation of SMEs is not opposed to trade order, because the Federation wants our businesses to operate within the existing legal framework. However, we're also asking government, its enforcers and local authorities to equally follow the law, to respect lawful businesses. The reason that they operate for road reserves is because of lack of alternatives. It's because the process of approving building plans is expensive and long. The red tape is so much. So we are therefore asking that government holds this process for now. It engages in extensive consultations. The objectives are agreed upon with all stakeholders. And this process should be phased. Thank you very much. Ekirala bannaffe bano tebasomesa bantu kiki mwagala okukola ekyagala okukolebwa tekiri clear era naffe tunakitegeera mugoba batembeeyi mu byalo eyo gye mugenda mutereza road reserve kuba naye eyo gye muli mu byalo eyo teri road reserve naye mumenya amayumba. So what objective eri ki? Objective kebeere clear, abantu basomesebwe mukwatagane n'abantu okukola ekintu ekirungi. Ekyokubiri, twakafuna etteeka epya lye bayita Building Control Amendment Act 2026 ne regulations ezigenda okumenya ebizimbe by'abantu tezinaba kujja mu mutandise kukola ki kumenya. So ffe tulowooza nti enkola eyo si nnungi. Ate n'etteeka lye mwesibaamu era trade licensing teribagamba kola eyo lirina penalties. Omuntu atalina license bamukolera ki? Etteeka terikugamba genda omenye nga bw'oyagadde. So n'olwekyo abantu baffe banyigirizibwa, abantu baffe abanaku abateresa obusente bwabwe, abamu bewoze mu saako, abamu bagenze mpigye ne bafuna obusente mumenye kati bakole batya. Abamu bagenda basi balwa butasasula kwa nsonga eno. So naffe federation twatutte obudde ne tukubira abantu aba SMEs 1,300 ne tukizuula nti kwabo 93 bagobeddwa we bakola tebalina we bakolera era bizinesi zitambula. 88 ebintu byayonooneddwa oba byawambiddwa. 79 tebakyayogera n'abakasitoma baabwe kuba babadde babamanyi okukolera tebakyayogera. 68 tebalina pulaani eddako. N'abalala beeraliikirivu. Buli lwe balaba omusirikale badduka batya baga nakati n'okukola bizinesi abo bajja kuddayo. N'ekirala abavubuka ababadde bafuna emirimu mu bizinesi ezimu bagenda kukolera wakyobula obubbi buyitiridde. Nammwe abalina emmotoka ennene ezinyirira ezirina SC bajja basanga eyo gye muli kuba tebalina mirimu. So mbadde mbasaba tubeere n'obuntu kye tuyita obuntu, tubeere n'obuntu bulamu. Tulowooze nti yes omwana wayinza okuba Katonda yamuyamba ayina gyali naye omwana we nga talina mulimu nga tonnabamenya kantu ke lowoozaamu nti omwana oyo yandibadde wuwo. N'ekirala local governments nazo zitawana tezinawe zijja musolo. Kati ate akuwa ku license ate gw'omenya ogenda kukola otya? So n'olwekyo tusaba n'abantu baffe bu businesses obwo bujuddemu babuuka n'abakyala abantu bagenda kukola batya bannange tulinga abasindika mu bwavu n'obunaku obwo buduuka bwe mulaba busasula fees obuduuka bwe mulaba bwe buyamba abantu b'abaana abo genda mu maduuka mu malwaliro so tusaba bannange wadde oda weeri naye tubeeremu n'obuntu bulamu nga tukola ebintu bino so n'olwekyo tusaba ebintu nga 3-4 tusooka tusaba operation yeno esooke ekome tusooke tugyetegereze buli omu ategere kyayagala okufuna abantu tubeebuuzeeko tutandike ogikola nga ffenna tuli aline kubanga mwenayogedde ffe tuwakanya trade order naye twagala ekolebwe ng'egoberera amateeka ng'ate abantu bekikwatako bakimanyi. Ekyokubiri, local governments sooka okoleyo ka strategy, trade order strategy oba ordinance eriyo gy'onaagobere tomala gamenya. Ekyokubiri abantu tubasomese lwaki toteekeddwa kukola mu road reserve ate netteeka erisaba okukolera mu road reserve weeriri oli mugamba omanyi wadde oli mu road reserve tulina etteeka saba bwoti ne bwoti ne bwoti buli mwaka sasulebwa emitwalo 3 oba emitwalo 3 Ministry of Works ejja kukkiriza okukolera mu road reserve yaayo naye tetukweka mateeka gamu ne tujjayo amalala tunyigirize abantu baffe bano abawansi. Gavumenti yennyini erina obuvunaanyizibwa okulaba nti abantu bano balina bwe bakolera. Tusaba gavumenti etandika okuzimba workspaces si butale tulirayo nga beesiba ku butale si buli omuntu ajja kukolera mu butale wakati makanika gwomenyedde ekintu kyate naye agenda kukolera mu katale makanika tasobola kanikira nga ate ennyanya ziri wala naye yeetaaga gyakolera n'atunga engoye yeetaaga gyakolera. So tusaba gavumenti etandika okukola strategy ku kintu kya workspaces nga maliriza tuwagira trade order naye enkola gyekolebwamu kati tetugiwagira. Nkola ya kifiiriza, nkola tesaasira munaku. Tusaba bantu baffe abo abali wansi bakawo ba town clerk nammwe mwaveena abanaku abo bemukyojjanya kati bwe baba sasulira fees nga tonnaba kusindika tractor ey'okwonoona kayumba ka munno lowooza musinga ye maama osinga ye muganda. Mugoberere amateeka mugoberere leeta bwegamwe musomesa abantu mubayambe bagoberere amateeka oba beetaaga okusaba yuno okukolera mu road reserve bakikole oba beetaaga okusaba license bakikole oba beetaaga tinamba bakikole Uganda yonna egalube gavumenti efune omusolo basigale nga bakula abaana bagende mu ssomero abavubuka basigale kituufu. Federation egenda kugulawo mukutu era tugenda tandika okugula nga wiiki ejja. Abantu bonna abakoseddwa mu bikwekweto bino batuwa obujulizi alina trading license ne bamenyera ekifo leeta alina plani leeta wakati biyingiddemu ne fitino oyinza okuba negomba dda polotiyo nempayo akasente wa tractor nti n'oyo naye kolaki musende. So n'olwekyo bannaffe omuntu yenna akoseddwa mu operation tugenda teekawo tugenda kufuna ne teams ezigenda wansi eyo gathering evidence tukyagenda mu court esobola butagenda mu court kuba wano mu Uganda bw'oba n'ekintu ekikulumye nga tomatidde okkirizibwa ogenda mu court. Kati nammwe abavuga tractor tujja bbawa abanga abantu nammwe ba town clerks yes government tujja naye nammwe tujja bbawaabira olw'okukola mu ngeri y'ekifiiriza emirimu gyammwe. Yes. In police, you see, when you're a public servant, you can be taken to court. Policemen have individual liability. Yes, you have to follow the law.